Welcome back to another episode of the Zuriel Show. Now, in episode 23, we're going to be tackling strategic marketing and what businesses can get out of it, understanding what the industry is about, and breaking down a couple of misconceptions about the industry in general. And in today's session, we have Carolyne Mweberi. Caroline, introduce yourself to the people, who you are, and simply what you do.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi, guys. My name is Carolyne Mweberi. I'm a product marketing lead at a fintech company called Leaf Global Fintech, where we offer economic security to the stateless and excluded. Yeah.
Lovely stuff, lovely. Take me through once again. It's been a pleasure to connect with you through LinkedIn just to really understand your story and what you're about. Could you take me through who you were in university and what was that experience like? Did you see yourself doing what you're doing right now, or was that a product of the experience of you working, a couple of years in the industry?
Okay. So my education background stems back to when I was in Moy University, and I have a degree in communication and PR. And then after that, I went and undertook my master's in corporate communication at Daystar. And then now from there, I delved into the world of, corporate communication and PR. And so when I joined Safaricom Innovation challenges in the market now, and most of the not product marketers and most of the marketers are not well equipped to know how to to meet the needs of the customers at the moment. So when I was at Safaricom, we were tasked with the responsibility of building products for Africa by Africa. And this means creating solutions that would meet the ever evolving market, right? And for
Yeah.
me, I look at my time at Safaricom Alpha as my transformational period. So I'll quote that as my
Mhm.
transformational period in my career journey, because that was the time I was able to really work closely with a team that was building a product from start to finish. So I got to understand things to do with UX research, to understand things like market segmentation, how the product development process goes, and from there I got to learn how to, just how to interact with customers better and how to use the feedback I get from customers and relaying that back to the team. So my journey hasn't been like a conventional one from the start. So I didn't start by studying marketing in undergrad. I started with the PR and communication, and then while relating with people in my team, and literally when I was going to the field and just interacting with the SMEs and just trying to find out what their problem was, I came to understand that in Kenya and in Africa in general, there is a gap in terms of positioning products and tech solutions in the market. So yeah, I took it up. I was like, there's a need here. I need to really own this and become a product marketer and just help startups, help companies just position their products well in the market. So yeah.
Oh, lovely stuff. And as you said, very unconventional. When
Yeah,
it comes
yeah.
to the space, as you know, any individual at the moment, regardless of your industry, um, graduating from university at the moment is almost scary.
Yes,
We are
it is.
jumping into, as a youth, that is, they're jumping into a market that's currently, not prepared for them due to lack of a better term. You know, is that something you agree with? What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with that. And just going back to my time when we were just studying or rather taking the PR course, it was more theoretical. So you're in class, lecturer is talking about crisis communication. How
Mm,
do you write a plan and execute it? How do you
yeah.
handle stakeholder management and all that? So it was more theoretical, but once you come into if you once you start your career journey, you get to realize it wasn't that helpful. Yes, you understand the theory bit,
Mm,
but it would be nice if it was practical. It was nice if a company was experiencing a crisis, they would take a few students there and tell them, just come up with a crisis communication plan, or we're planning to launch this product in a certain market segment, come up with a go-to-market strategy and help us position this product. So it wasn't practical. So I understand when you say it's a bit challenging when guys are leaving campus and just starting their career journey. So yeah, so that's why I normally advise guys to start. We'll talk about this at the end. Just start with internship programs to get to really execute those theories that you learned in class. So just start with that.
Oh, and I
Yeah.
100% agree on the aspect of really focusing on the practicality side of things rather than sticking to the theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, really like that. Now, moving on to product marketing, which is, I really love that it's your area of focus and something that's I consider, dwelling and dabbling in the world of digital. It's something that's quite timeless and very relevant, especially in the climate in which we're experiencing as startups and businesses as a whole. In your own words, what would you describe product marketing is in your own words?
Okay, thank you. I love that question.
Mm.
So, product marketing, for me, it's a strategic role that ensures the successful positioning and scaling of a product in the market, and this will entail you working with cross-functional teams. So, I'm talking sales team, marketing, product management, and the engineering department. So, a product marketer is ideally the champion of the customer. So you need to really understand your customers, what are their needs, what are their pain points, what do they want to be developed in the next season and all that, or in the next phase. And then just to have the ability to translate software technology to unique value propositions. So yes, we have products that are being built. Some of them are very technical, and you cannot be able to relay that to a customer if you're not able to clearly dilute, I call it diluting the technical bits and just highlighting the value proposition you're offering to these customers. So the product marketer is at the heart of the following things. So you're at the heart of the product launches, go-to-market strategy. You need to understand positioning, the pricing of the product, carrying out competitor intelligence. This means just understanding what your competitors are doing out there, how are their prices, who are they hiring, and all that. And then really working on your messaging and positioning, and then selecting the proper communication channels that would fit your audience, and then drafting your narrative design that would appeal to the sort of the market segment you're targeting. So I think that's what I'd say. So if you were to ask me who a great product marketer is, or who a great product marketer needs to be, is a great team player, a great content creator, a listener, and a person who can write well. So that means you'll be handling the messaging well.
Right. I
Yeah.
really apologize. In between, it was just breaking off just a little bit. But just to, because I know the last segment, I'll consider was the most important. I liked everything you said, but in terms of a great product marketer, could you please just capture that once again?
Okay, so a great product marketer needs to be a person who's a great team player, right? So you need to be a
Yes,
team
yes,
player because you'll be working across different teams. So it's a
yeah.
cross-functional team. So that means you'll be working with sales, the sales team, marketing, product management, and the engineering department. And then you need to be a great content creator, because you'll be tasked as a product marketer.
Yes.
We are tasked to position brands or position products into the market. So that means you need to know how to create content that will appeal to the target market.
Wow, very powerful. Now, I know someone may be listening to this and may be thinking to myself, that actually sounds amazing, something I wish I could do, assuming that they're someone who's new in business or simply a startup in the game. What advice would you give an individual like this to effectively, or strategically deliver their brand message as a whole?
Okay. So for that, I would just advise them to fast, and this is so key. This is so key, and so many startups miss it, and that is understanding your target audience. You need to understand what are their pain points. How do they consume media? So that would help you select the proper channels. So it will be something like, how do they, how do they relate with brands, or how do they do their research before they first decide to buy your product, where they doing their research and all that. So just understanding your target audience as a whole will help you position yourself, your brand or product to the market very well. And then the other thing is to clearly articulate the value you're bringing to the market. So that means aligning your value proposition for each market segment. So let's say, for example, your product is an application that is targeting, it's a B2B targeting customers, B2B targeting brands or corporates and all that. So that means you would need to align each value per market, per market segment, and that would really
Yeah.
make it easy for them to grasp what you're trying to offer them, and it will make your positioning much easier. It will align your messaging, and they'll be able to really get to it, what you're trying to sell to them. And that means you'll have an increase in your product adoption. You'll have reduced churn rate and all that.
Very powerful advice. Now, I'd like
Yeah.
to just also bring more to that conversation as a whole. There's a
Mm-hmm.
whole misconception that B2B brands, let me just focus on B2B brands in this
Mm-hmm.
case. B2B brands have this challenge when it comes to creating content. And I see it all the time on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
They almost struggle to articulate their brand message. And
Mm-hmm.
what that does, like I'm sure you can relate to this, when you see on LinkedIn, you can see there's this B2B company. Yes, they have this amazing product. Yes, they have this amazing service. But all they
Mm-hmm.
seem to do is simply pitch, 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 pitch,
I
without
know. I
providing
know.
any actual value in form of blogs,
Yeah.
articles, meaningful
Mm-hmm.
videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that as it's almost a trend, almost due to lack of a better term. And
Mm-hmm.
you'll find that they actually, and I'm not really blaming or chastising anyone who does this, any brand. It's just
Mm-hmm.
there's a landmine of opportunities at the moment on platforms such as LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn used to be a platform where we simply used to, post our resumes and get jobs. But
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, just like I do and so many other people do, it's becoming a content creation platform, which you can
Mm-hmm.
not only use to gain exposure for your brand, but
Mm-hmm.
also educate your audience at the same time. What
Mm-hmm.
are your thoughts on that as a whole?
For that, I feel like that's where brands fail. You cannot take the approach of pushing your brand to people. That's
Right.
old school.
Yes.
That's
Yes. Yes.
outbound marketing. The
Yes.
new approach companies and the smart companies, what they're doing now, it's inbound marketing. So that means creating and reaching content for your audience that would make them see value in your company and your solutions, and essentially just highlighting your expertise in the specific field. So things like thought leadership articles, those are things companies need to invest in. Things like creating case studies to highlight how your problem, how your product or solution is solving the problems in the market, right?
Mm, mm,
It's
mm.
something like creating webinar sessions to enrich your target audience. And for me, it's inbound marketing. It's drawing people in instead of pushing content to them. I mean,
Yeah.
people are tired of that. People are tired of that, and even decision makers in companies know these
Yeah.
things. And the thing that would put you ahead of the pack is just creating and reaching content, being a thought leader in your industry, and creating content that would draw those people in. Just write a superb article on something that touches on your product and industry, so that when
Yeah.
that executive reads about it, they'll be like, yeah, this company know what they're talking about. So, and that draws
Yeah.
them in, as opposed to pushing content, which is what sadly most companies are doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well put. Very well put. And I actually couldn't explain it any better. Now, there's this notion, and I've seen this over and over again, maybe just to provide some background on my end. Before I went
Mm-hmm.
full on and started working with Zuriel as a whole, I used to do freelance digital marketing, providing digital service to different small businesses as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And some not so much smaller, but they have larger teams. But one almost common aspect that I see across the different clients is the almost lack of knowledge when it comes to the decision makers of how the digital space actually works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost leads to, there's, in my opinion, there's so much progress that could have been made, but due to that lack of knowledge, it almost hinders what could be done. Now, I'd like to get your 2 cents when it comes to executives or individuals in senior positions. What do you feel
Mm-hmm.
are some common misconceptions that they have about the marketing industry as a whole that,
Mm-hmm.
if clarified, would result to better performance among marketing departments as a whole?
Mm-hmm. I love that question. And
Mm,
so for me, the main misconception is that executives do not have an understanding of how, like, the scope of the marketing department or the scope of the product marketing, like what product marketing entails, right? So, and this is partly I think I'd put it on the departments because that's something they need to educate the executives on,
yes.
because the department is very key in that it makes or breaks the product you guys are investing in. So you're investing millions into this product, and it is the marketing department or the product marketing department together with the other departments that are going to determine if it's going to be successful or not, right?
Mm,
So for me, it's more of just educating the executives because there's that common misconception about what you guys are doing. They'll be like, oh, we're investing so much money, and all that charade, but just educating them on what you guys are doing. So it's taking them through the product development journey, it's taking them through the feedback you've gotten from the market and how the customers would want to be communicated to, and also taking them through the channels you guys are going to use, and also showing them projections of how, if you take this strategy, what is going to affect, or how it's going to affect the company bottom line at the end, how is it going to increase the number of customers you have at the moment, and all that. So for me, I just take it back to educating the executives because most of them,
mm,
uh, they're tied up there with just making sure the company makes money, securing
yeah.
deals and partnerships. So for you as a department, you need to bring them on board and take them through the product development journey, and just guide them through what you guys are doing, and they'll be able to see value in what you're doing and appreciate the role more.
Oh, very, and I'm sure not only I, but that's a very well-rounded answer because
Yeah.
I see a lot of, I have these discussions more often than not. And I feel a lot of people quickly shift blame to executives and individuals within senior positions. And as much as yes, that knowledge and understanding needs to be bridged, um, there's more work from the department as a whole, as you rightfully said, that needs to
True,
be
true,
clarified and have been brought on board. So,
true, true.
yeah, lovely discussion so far. Now, moving on, in terms of the youth as in terms of their role within the marketing industry within the next 5, 6 years, let's take the example of a recent graduate. What advice would you give to this individual that's considering to enter within the marketing space? What advice or steps would you um, give him or her to take?
Okay, I love that question. So for me, the first advice I would give them is to network broadly. So just reach
Mm,
out to professionals who are already in the industry and set up interviews with them and get to know, what they're doing, what projects are they working on, what approaches or strategies that they're using. Because most of the time, what you've learned in school is theoretical. So now you need to get to the practical bit of what is being done in the market and what campaigns are being run at the moment. You need to get to understand that, and the only way to get to do that is through networking with other professionals in the industry at the moment. So, and then the other advice I would give the youth would be, don't be afraid to take up internship opportunities to get to learn and learn how to execute what you've learned in school. So I know there's a bit of an issue around internships and how if people should be paid or not, but just be open to taking up internship opportunities, get
Yeah.
to practice what you learned in school, and I kid you not, from there you'll be able to grow. You'll be able to grow your skill set, you'll be able to grow your network, and that will be a plus and a boost to your career journey. And then the last would be read and research widely. And
Mm.
be an expert in the industry you'll be working in. So let's say, for example, you want to be if you want to be a product marketer in the fintech space or the banking space or a healthcare space, you need to read widely about what it all entails, so that when you're positioning a product into the market, you'll be able to do it with more wisdom, so that you'll be able to just come up with campaigns that will be more impactful, and touch lives, and just meet the needs of the customers you're targeting in all the segments. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. And
Yeah.
I agree 100% with everything you said. And